Good morning. My name is Houghton and welcome to Morning Prime. Thank you so much for joining me today. Morning Prime is my daily session where I get my mind and my body calm, positive, and prepared for the day ahead. So thank you so much for joining me here this morning. I do this routine in some form or fashion every single morning, and I pick tools that I've collected over the years and that I've put into the Founders First system for helping founders build their resilience and manage stress and be healthier and happier and do, honestly, a better job of doing what we want to do as we change the world and build our companies. So thank you so much for joining me for our session today. The first tool I want to share is from the calming category, and this is a rare treat even for myself. So this is one of what I call in the Founders First system training in our Peakability group, I call this one of the big guns that I only use when I really need something exceptional to get me to calm. And if you've joined me before for these Morning Prime sessions, you know that I often start out with 10 clearing breaths. So we're gonna do something a little different today, and I'm gonna teach a breathing technique called the belly breath superset. So thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Belly breath superset works like this. It's a multi-stage breath where we're gonna breathe first from the belly. So we're gonna expand just the belly, keeping our chest tight and stationary, breathing in, expanding the belly out, and then finishing the breath in the chest. For the top of the breath, we're gonna do a little bit of tension in the arms as well. So we're gonna hold fists. You can lay them, keep them down on your legs if you'd like, but tense your hands and tense your shoulders in. And we're gonna take just a second to hold there at the top of the breath. And then like a clearing breath, we release it, but instead of letting it all out quickly like a clearing breath, we're gonna actually use the belly, the abdomen, to squeeze back in slowly towards the spine, compressing in, and that's what squeezes our air out. So use your belly and put your hand on your belly, I recommend, so you can just feel it moving in and out. And that's gonna guide the process of pushing all of the air out to get to the bottom of the breath. So there's a couple things to think about here. Let's do a couple of these together. So go ahead and get in a comfortable position where you can close your eyes, feet flat on the floor, sitting with your back upright and straight. Go ahead and inhale, just a normal breath, and let all of your air out. Put your hand on your belly. We're gonna start the breath in just from the belly. Expand the belly out. The breath comes in, finish the breath in the chest. Now I want you to tense your hands, squeeze your shoulders and your arms for 2 seconds, and then release now. Remember, using the belly to push the air out. Belly contracting back in towards the spine. Let's do it again. Expand belly. Finish in the chest with the breath. Tense the hands and the shoulders. 1, 2, now start the release, using your belly and pushing it in with your abdominal muscles to guide the release of the breath out. Breathe in from the belly. Finish breath in the chest. Tense your hands and shoulders. 1, 2, and now start pushing the air out from the belly, bringing your belly back in towards your spine. The air comes out. Breathe in belly again. Finish air with the chest. Tension in the arms and the hands. And release. Using the belly to guide the air out. Breathe in belly again. Expanding the big belly out. Chest breath in. Hold with the hands and arms, tension. Now push the air out from the belly. Let's do one more as we finish up. Breathe from the belly in. Finish with the chest. Hold your hands and your shoulders tight. And start the release of air. Bringing your belly back in towards the spine. You can put your hand on your belly again to just ride back in. All right, return your breath to normal again. So normal breath in and back out. You can open your eyes again. So I want to talk for a minute today and share an experience that I had so consistently over the years when building eye contact, from the first version of the application that I wrote on my futon in my apartment in college, sitting in the living room next to my friend Wes, all the way up to building the company to 350 employees across the world and $50 million in revenue 9 years later. And that was these intense situations of performance. In the early years, of course, it's easy. You're building something, there's no customers, there's no employees, there's really nobody to let down except for yourself. You're the entrepreneur, you have an idea in your mind, and you want to build this thing and take it to the world. And then as time moves on, there's people that rely on you if things go well. You have employees, you have investors, you have board members, and these people now rely on your performance as the founder, as a CEO, as a chairman of the board, in all of these roles that we take on as founders in our companies over the years as they grow. And these people rely on us to show up every day, as well as in moments of crisis to guide them through it, or moments of important decision making. And for me, as chairman of our board of directors for so many years, these intense moments came in board meetings quarterly when we had our investors in from all over the East Coast. And over the years, we raised $65 million from outside investors through debt and equity capital. And here I am as a 26-year-old founder, having a board of directors from groups of people that have raised hundreds of millions of dollars from their limited partners and have invested those dollars in our company, and they're flying into town to hear the progress report and hear how things are going. And one of my most important takeaways over the years through this experience was the difference between preparing tactically for a meeting and preparing mentally and physically for a meeting. And so I want to split the preparation for a big, important performance event into those two pieces as we think about it today. There's preparing yourself, the person, and then there's preparing the professional, the entrepreneur, or the chairman of the board of directors, and the type of preparation you need to do to lead a good meeting tactically. So these are two completely different categories of preparation, and I didn't really realize this for many, many years. So I would wear myself out preparing tactically for a meeting, staying up super late the night before, planning notes, looking at my presentation for the next day, building the agenda, maybe even briefing team members, talking to my co-founder Ryan, who was our CEO, about how the meeting was going to go, reviewing my own notes for what I would share the next day during the meeting and how I wanted to influence people or communicate with people. And I would forget to do all of the things that would actually allow me in the moment when I arrived in the meeting to perform in the way that I wanted to perform. Things like getting a good night's sleep, things that calmed my mind, and things that calmed my body. The question of, for me, to have caffeine or not. If I didn't sleep enough, if I stayed up late preparing for the meeting, I had an incredible tendency, like many of us do as founders, to grab a couple of cups of coffee to get started in the morning so that I wouldn't feel sleepy and I would feel energized. But as somebody that's suffered from anxiety over the years, caffeine oftentimes turns me into a little bit of a crazy person, makes me super jittery, makes my mind race, makes me hot sometimes. I'll even start sweating. It really kind of cranks my system up, and that's great for not falling asleep. And oftentimes I needed it as a crutch, but it didn't always create the type of person that I wanted to be in the moment in the board meeting. So I'll share a couple of things that I found over the years, and many of these, unfortunately, I discovered after these moments of performance in our board meetings at Eye Contact. But one of the simplest ones is to calm the mind with a simple meditation. And even just 5 minutes of breath work or mindfulness meditation before you go into a board meeting or any important meeting will do an incredible job of calming you down so you can have empathy for other people, so you can listen to other people, you can get out of your own head and understand what everybody else around the table needs. That's an incredible way to make sure that you're saying things that people want to hear, that you're crafting the vision in the way that people will be receptive to. That empathy, as well as creativity, comes from our minds being in a very calm place. And so those brain waves are basically gamma state waves or theta state waves that allow us to be really kind and compassionate and to have empathy and to have creativity and to be able to really connect with people and inspire them. And so if we're at these upper levels of activation where caffeine often gets us, and I say that mostly because that's where it gets me, so it's not the wrong, caffeine's not the wrong tool for everybody. I don't want to put that impression out there, but it's really about using the tools that work for you. So breath work, meditation. There's a great way, if you feel jittery in meetings like this, you feel your heart racing, you feel your adrenal glands pumping out cortisol with the stress response that gets us really activated. If you want to limit that response in the meeting, a great way to do that is to try and flush cortisol out beforehand. And a really simple way to do that is to just sprint. So you've got to find a place you can do this and not look crazy, maybe not down the hallway in the middle of your office. You can also do it with like some air squats or something in a stationary place where you're just moving up and down, or burpees going from standing to the ground and back up again. Something that quickly gets your system and your heart rate to spike because your muscles need energy. And that'll actually flush cortisol out of your adrenal glands so that there's less available in those moments of excitement, in those moments of performance in the meeting. So if you want to limit that kind of default stress response that many of us have, that I certainly have, to moments of pressure and intensity, you can do that about 30 minutes beforehand. Take just 1 or 2 minutes for some intense movement practice, and that'll cause your body to release cortisol. You may feel jittery for a couple minutes, and then your body will metabolize it and work it out of your system. And that puts you in a way more prepared place to be able to walk into what you're coming into next. And then my last favorite tool, I use this a lot in Morning Prime, but I think it's incredible before you go into a large group of people to get out of your own head and to be able to understand how other people feel, is gratitude journaling. So just taking a couple of minutes, and you can look back at some of our previous Morning Prime episodes to have a guided session with gratitude journaling if you want as well. But it's a really simple process where you're just coming up with, either in your head or writing down, a simple list of things that you're grateful for. People, things, experiences, statuses, like my health or my energy I might be grateful for in any given day. So that's my takeaway for you today, is to always remember the difference between preparing your professional identity, all the things that you know you need to do to be prepared to have the information you need to have in the moment, versus preparing yourself. Because in the moment, in that moment of pressure, you want to be able to respond to what happens with the best version of yourself, with the most empathy and the most creativity and the most inspiration, in order to be a great leader and in order to be a great entrepreneur. So I want to close this out today in the preparation category by preparing our minds with a little bit of breath work. And this is how I usually start Morning Prime, but let's finish it out with 10 clearing breaths today. So a clearing breath is a medium speed breath in. And unlike the belly breath superset, where we're controlling it with our belly and pushing in on the out breath, we're just gonna let it go on the out breath. Like a balloon has been popped, just releasing everything that we have. So go ahead and close your eyes, feet flat on the floor again, and start the breath in. Hold for a half second at the top and release it. Try to see if there's any tension in your shoulders or in your body. If you're sitting up straight, there'll be just enough tension to hold your body upright and nothing else. Breathe in again. Hold, and then release. Breathe in. Hold, and let it go. Breath 4 in. And out. Breath 5 in. Let it out. Breathing in. And release. These last few, I want you to hold your shoulders up a little bit on the breath in. Breathing in, shrug your shoulders up, just a little bit of tension, and then let them fall on the out breath. Breathing out. Breathing in. Shoulders up, half second hold and release. Last 2, breathe in. A little bit of tension and release. Last breath in. Tension in the shoulders, and just let every bit of tension and anything on your mind go on this last breath out. Go ahead and open your eyes now. And return your breath to a normal pace. Breathing in and breathing out. Thank you so much for joining me for Morning Prime today. That is my daily routine for getting my mind and my body calm, positive, and prepared. And we did the amazing belly breath superset together. That's something I recommend if you have moments of intensity and you need to get back to calm quickly. It's an incredible breathing process that delivers us back to calm. We then talked about the difference between being prepared personally in our minds and our bodies versus being prepared technically for a meeting. The difference between preparing an agenda versus preparing a mindset. And these are two really different and incredible tools that we can use to be the best versions of ourselves. If you're not preparing your mind and your body, you have this incredible gift in front of you right now. And the amount of performance that you're going to be able to get out of yourself in the next moment of intensity where you need to do something exactly the right way at exactly the right time, you are going to amaze yourself at what you can do. There's so much opportunity on the table if you haven't done this intentionally before. And then we finished up with our 10 clearing breaths to get us back to calm right now as we start our days. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is Aaron Houghton, and that was Morning Prime. Have a great day today.